Ladies and gentlemen, let me begin by asking you a question. Have you ever watched someone succeed and thought, wow, they're lucky? What if I told you that luck is not a surprise guest, it's a scheduled visitor, and the invitation is written by your habits, your discipline, and your hard work? Stay with me today, because in the next few minutes, you're going to discover why some people seem luckier than others, why success gravitates towards certain individuals, and most importantly, how you can put yourself exactly where luck shows up. This is not a message of chance, this is a message of certainty. If you take the principles I'm about to share seriously, your life can shift so dramatically that even you will call it luck. But you'll know the truth, you earned it. Let's begin. When you work hard, you place yourself on life's map. Luck doesn't find the people who hide. It finds those who show up, those who practice, those who try again, those who keep improving even when no one applauds. Your hard work is like a lighthouse. It signals opportunity. It says, here I am, I'm ready. Success loves preparation. You see, luck might bring you a moment, but only preparation allows you to recognize it and capture it. A lucky break means nothing to the person who isn't ready for it. But when you've been grinding day after day, learning, refining, building, you become the kind of person who doesn't just meet opportunity, you shake hands with it. Every disciplined day adds interest to your future. You may not see results today, or tomorrow, or next month, but every hour you invest stacks upon the next until life has no choice but to reward you. People call the moment of breakthrough luck, but they didn't see the years of effort that made that moment possible. Hard work changes you, and then you attract more. When you grow, your world grows. When you become better, opportunities become bigger. When you commit to excellence, life responds with openings you once thought were impossible. Hard work doesn't just prepare you for good luck, it creates it. Persistence makes you unavoidable to success. There is a point where life simply cannot ignore someone who refuses to quit. The person who keeps striving becomes the person who keeps rising. Opportunity may delay, but it cannot deny. So here is the truth you must carry forward. You don't wait for luck. You build the staircase that leads you to it. You don't hope for miracles. You create the conditions where miracles appear. And when they do, the world will say you were lucky. But you and I will know. Your hard work put you exactly where luck could find you. There's a belief many people carry quietly in their minds that the world runs on luck. That some people simply wake up blessed, chosen, gifted with chances the rest of us never receive. But here is the truth, clear and simple. Opportunity is rarely random. It gravitates toward the people who prepared a landing place for it. Hard work doesn't just help you succeed, it builds the very stage where luck can walk in and introduce itself. You cannot wait for chance. You cannot sit on the sidelines hoping life will hand you a miracle. Miracles show up where effort is already working. Think of a farmer. He doesn't pray for rain on an empty field. He first plows the soil, plants the seeds, removes the rocks, clears the weeds, and then he hopes for rain. That's how opportunity works. It only becomes meaningful when the groundwork has already been done. When you work hard, really hard, consistently, thoughtfully, with intention, you're performing two powerful actions at once. First, you are developing skills that prepare you for any future opportunity. Second, you are signaling to life itself, I am ready, I am capable, I am willing. Opportunity does not come to the unready, it comes to the willing and the working. Opportunity is attracted to effort just like metal is attracted to a magnet. A person who studies every day becomes the person who is offered the rare position. A person who practices their craft daily becomes the one chosen when a big project appears. A person who shows discipline when others show excuses becomes the one who gets the lucky break. But that lucky break wasn't luck. It was the natural result of invisible preparation. Hard work creates patterns inside you, patterns of discipline, patterns of persistence, patterns of resilience. These internal victories are the true reason opportunities find you. Because when the moment comes, when the door finally opens, you are not scrambling to get ready. You're already standing there prepared, confident, sharp. This is why the world mistakes it for luck. They didn't see the early mornings. They didn't see the late nights. They didn't see the rejections, the failures, the falls, the quiet moments of pushing through doubt. People only see the success. They never see the scaffolding that held it up. But you see it. You were there for all of it. You felt every step of the climb. You experienced every challenge. And because you refused to sit and hope for luck, you built yourself into someone opportunity couldn't ignore. Here is the biggest lesson of all. Opportunity rarely visits people who aren't moving. It visits those who are already walking, already building, already climbing. Hard work creates motion, and motion creates momentum. And momentum creates visibility. When you move, possibilities begin to move toward you. Some people think hard work is about sweat. But the truth is, hard work is about strategy. It's about building the habits that create value. And the more value you create, the more chances life gives you to use it. Hard work multiplies your options. It increases your exposure. It amplifies your name. It sharpens your mind. It strengthens your character. All of this becomes a magnet for opportunity. So never underestimate a single day of effort. Every hour of practice, Every page you read, every skill you sharpen, every challenge you face, it all becomes part of the foundation that supports your breakthrough. One day people will say you were lucky. Smile when they say it, because their words will be proof that your preparation worked, your hard work created the conditions, and luck simply followed the light you built. If there's one word that separates dreamers from achievers, it is discipline, not talent, not intelligence, not luck. Discipline, the ability to do what needs to be done even when the excitement has faded, is the quiet force that transforms simple, ordinary days into extraordinary results. And the truth is, most people misunderstand discipline. They think it is harsh, they think it is restrictive. But discipline is not a prison, it is the path to freedom. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. And the reason it works is simple, small, consistent actions repeated daily compound into massive outcomes. No single workout transforms your body. No single study session changes your future. No single day of effort builds your legacy. It is the repeated pattern, the habit, that creates the magic. Discipline is the engine that keeps those habits alive. Take any successful person you admire. You may see their achievements, their lifestyle, their confidence. But behind all of that is a private world of discipline. The early mornings when staying in bed was easier. The long evenings when others were relaxing. The moments when they chose growth over comfort, effort over excuses, progress over pleasure. They didn't wake up extraordinary. They became extraordinary by mastering ordinary days. The truth is, ordinary days are where the battle is won. Most people wait for motivation. I'll work when I feel inspired. I'll start when I'm in the right mood. But mood is temporary. Emotion is unstable. Motivation is unpredictable. Discipline, however, is steady. It doesn't care how you feel. It respects only commitment. And when your life is built on commitment instead of feelings, your path becomes unstoppable. There's a simple principle at work. Discipline today creates the rewards of tomorrow. Every disciplined morning adds strength to your future. Every disciplined hour sharpens your skills. Every disciplined choice builds the self-respect that success demands. When you do what is necessary, even when you don't feel like it, you are molding yourself into someone who can handle more, achieve more, and deserve more. Discipline doesn't guarantee instant results. What it guarantees is eventual results, and that is where most people stumble. They expect quick rewards, immediate gratification, fast outcomes, but extraordinary results require extraordinary patience. Discipline is the art of showing up every day knowing that today might not show any visible success, but understanding that without today, success will never come. Consider this: a tree grows silently. You don't see the roots expanding beneath the soil. You don't see the cells multiplying inside the trunk. You only notice the tree once it has grown tall. Discipline works the same way. It grows your roots long before the world sees your branches. This is why disciplined people appear lucky. Because when opportunity arrives, they're ready physically, mentally, emotionally, skillfully. Undisciplined people call it luck. But disciplined people call it the result of showing up again and again when no one was watching. Here is the secret. Discipline is not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. You will have good days. You will have tired days. You will have days of doubt. But if you remain consistent, even at 6% or 70%, your progress continues. Discipline is not rigid, it is reliable. When you build discipline, you build trust in yourself. And a person who trusts themselves becomes powerful because they know, I can rely on me. And that confidence alone attracts opportunity. So honor your ordinary days, protect your routines, celebrate your consistency, because one day those simple disciplined actions will accumulate into achievements so extraordinary that even you will look back in awe. This is how discipline turns ordinary days into extraordinary results. If hard work is the engine of success, then consistency is the fuel that keeps it running long enough to reach the destination. Anyone can work hard for a day. Many can work hard for a week. A few can push themselves for a month. But the rare individuals, the ones who achieve what others call luck, are the ones who show up again and again long after the excitement has faded. Consistency is the great separator. It is the invisible power that transforms scattered effort into inevitable success. Most people underestimate the power of small daily actions. They believe success comes from one big moment, a breakthrough, a lucky chance, a sudden opportunity. But success is built long before the world ever sees it. It is built in repetition, in routine, in the quiet moments when you choose progress over comfort. Consistency is the bridge that connects who you are right now with who you want to become. Imagine a dripping faucet. One drop of water does nothing, but a steady drip hour after hour can. That is the power of consistency. Even the smallest action repeated faithfully becomes unstoppable over time. It doesn't depend on talent. It doesn't depend on mood. It depends only on commitment. Consistency is not glamorous. It's waking up early when nobody else is watching. It's practicing your skills while others scroll through distractions. It's studying when your friends are relaxing. It's showing up for your goals whether you feel motivated or not. Consistency demands discipline, devotion, and responsibility. But it rewards you with results so powerful that people will think you got lucky, when in truth you simply stayed long enough for your efforts to compound. Here's what many forget. Consistency builds credibility with yourself. Every time you keep a promise you make to yourself, whether it's going to the gym, reading for an hour, improving your craft, or building your business, you reinforce your self-trust. And once you trust yourself, you become unstoppable because you no longer wait for motivation, you rely on identity. You don't say, I'll try. You say, this is who I am. Consistency is also the key to momentum. One day of effort leads to another. One improvement inspires the next. Progress becomes addictive. You start noticing small wins, and slowly the gap between you and your old self widens. That gap is where fortune begins to show up. Life often rewards the predictable. Not predictable in a boring sense, but predictable in the sense that the world knows you will show up. People trust consistent people. Opportunities trust consistent people. Success trusts consistent people. When you become reliable to your own mission, opportunity becomes reliable to you. And here is the part many miss. Consistency is more important than perfection. You don't have to be perfect every day. You don't need to give 100% every percent. Some days 60%, some days you'll barely scrape 40%, but what matters is that you show up anyway. The magic is not in giving your best. The magic is in giving something every single day. Because every day you show up, even imperfectly, you keep the door open for fortune to enter. You remain on the path. You stay connected to growth, learning, and improvement. And little by little, your consistency builds a life that inconsistency can never achieve. So remember this. Hard work starts the journey. Discipline keeps you focused. But consistency is what carries you across the bridge from effort to fortune. Keep walking that bridge. Because the moment you stop is the moment luck loses your address. But the moment you keep going, day after day, step after step, fortune has no choice but to find you. In every success story you admire, there is a chapter you will never read. The chapter written in silence, in effort, in loneliness, in discipline. The world celebrates the final result, the trophy, the promotion, the applause, the achievement. But the world rarely sees what truly created it, the unseen hours. The early mornings when everyone else was asleep. The late nights when everyone else had quit. The practice sessions no one applauded. The failures no one witnessed. The doubts no one heard. That is where growth truly happens. The unseen hours are the most powerful, yet the most underrated. You see, anyone can perform when an audience is watching. Anyone can put on their best face when the spotlight is on. But true transformation occurs when no one knows what you're doing, when there's no recognition, when there's no applause, when it's just you, your goals, and your willingness to keep pushing. Growth is quiet. It doesn't announce itself. You don't wake up one morning with a new skill magically perfected. You don't suddenly become stronger, smarter, or more capable overnight. Growth happens slowly, invisibly, through repetition and patience. It forms in the tiny improvements you barely notice, like reading a few pages a day, correcting your mistakes, practicing a technique, or choosing discipline over distraction. The problem is most people want visible results from invisible effort, and they want it immediately. But growth doesn't work that way. The world sees the fruit, not the roots. Yet it's the roots, the hidden work, that determine the strength of the tree. When you invest time into your craft in the unseen hours, you are building roots deep enough to survive storms, failures, rejections, and disappointments. You're becoming someone who cannot be shaken easily. That inner strength cannot be built in public. It is forged when you're alone, pushing yourself when no one is pushing you. Think about the great athletes, performers, entrepreneurs, and leaders. Their greatness wasn't born on the stage. It was born in the quiet rooms where they practiced the same move hundreds of times, studied the same material repeatedly, rehearsed what others found boring, and worked when others relaxed. By the time the world saw them, they were ready, not because of luck, but because of all the hours the world never saw. And here's the beautiful irony. The more time you invest in the unseen hours, the more people will think your success was effortless. They'll say you were gifted. They'll say you got lucky. But they didn't see the sacrifices. They didn't see the discipline. They didn't see the nights you wanted to quit but kept going anyway. Growth also happens during the moments of struggle, the failures, setbacks, and disappointments. These experiences mold you, refine you, strengthen you. They teach resilience, patience, and humility. They expose your weaknesses so you can correct them. They shape your character long before they shape your results. Most people avoid the unseen hours because they look quiet, boring, and unglamorous. But if you embrace them, they become your advantage. They're where you outgrow your old habits, outperform your former self, and outprepare everyone else. Here's the truth. The unseen hours are not optional. They are essential. If you skip them, you skip your growth. If you disrespect them, you disrespect your dreams. If you avoid them, you avoid the very foundation of success. So commit to the unseen hours, cherish them, protect them, because they are the birthplace of excellence. And one day when you finally shine publicly, remember, your success did not happen in the moment the world saw you. It happened in the thousands of moments the world never did. There's a phrase people use casually, he's lucky. But if you look closely at the people who seem to get lucky again and again, you'll notice something very important. They are always expanding. They are always feeding their mind. And that is no coincidence, because the more you learn, the more prepared you become. And the more prepared you become, the more opportunity recognizes you. Knowledge has a way of attracting luck, the same way a magnet attracts metal. Learning enlarges your world. It sharpens your perception. It helps you notice opportunities that others walk past without even recognizing. Someone with knowledge sees a possibility where others see nothing. They see a pathway where others see obstacles. They see solutions where others see confusion. Learning changes your eyes before it changes your life. Think about it. A mind that is aware, informed, skilled, and curious has 1,000 chances to win. A mind that is dull, distracted, and untrained has only one: luck without preparation, and that rarely arrives. When you learn, you increase your ability to act. You increase your ability to adapt. You increase your ability to solve problems, to think clearly, to make better decisions. These abilities make you more valuable, more capable, and more ready for opportunity. And readiness is what people call luck. Learning is not limited to formal education. It's reading books that challenge your thinking. It's watching someone who is better than you and studying how they do it. It's asking questions instead of pretending to know everything. It's practicing skills repeatedly until they become effortless. It's staying curious instead of staying comfortable. When you learn, you invest in yourself. You build mental wealth, wealth no one can steal from you. And that wealth pays dividends for the rest of your life. It shows up in the form of better choices, stronger relationships, bigger opportunities, and greater confidence. Every piece of knowledge you gain becomes a seed planted in the soil of your future. Some people wait for opportunity, but the wise prepare for it. And preparation comes from learning. You don't guess your way into success. You grow your way into it. You don't stumble into breakthroughs. You study your way toward them. This is why people who learn consistently seem to attract luck. It's because their improved thinking brings them to improved circumstances. There will be times when learning feels slow, times when you feel tired, times when progress feels invisible. But keep learning anyway, because learning compounds. Every concept you understand makes the next one easier. Every skill you develop strengthens the next skill. Growth builds on growth. Mastery builds on mastery. Soon you begin seeing the world differently, more clearly, more intelligently, more strategically. And then something magical happens. Opportunities that once intimidated you now excite you. Doors that once looked closed suddenly become reachable. Solutions that once confused you now make perfect sense. You become the kind of person who creates their own luck. Remember this: life doesn't reward those who know everything. Life rewards those who continue learning. The moment you stop learning is the moment you stop rising. The moment you stop being curious is the moment opportunities stop noticing you. But if you keep learning daily, consistently, intentionally, you make yourself impossible to overlook. You make yourself adaptable in a changing world. You make yourself valuable to the marketplace. And most importantly, you make yourself ready for every blessing life wants to send your way. So learn not for the test, learn for your life. Learn because every page turns you into someone stronger. Learn because every skill increases your destiny. Learn because every new idea brings you one step closer to the opportunities others call luck. In the end, you'll discover a simple truth. The more you learn, the luckier you become. If there is one quality that separates those who almost succeed from those who absolutely succeed, it is persistence. Not talent, not resources, not timing, persistence. The decision to keep moving forward no matter how slow, no matter how difficult, no matter how uncertain, is the force that eventually bends life in your favor. With persistence, what looks like luck is simply the result of refusing to give up. Most people quit too early. They quit right before their breakthrough. They quit when things start to get uncomfortable, when progress feels slow, when results don't appear fast enough. But those who persist understand something powerful. Every step, every attempt, every effort brings them closer to the moment when everything aligns. Persistence doesn't guarantee immediate success, but it guarantees eventual success. If you keep going, life cannot deny you forever. Think about water dripping on stone. One drop means nothing. 100 drops mean nothing. But 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 drops, over time, that same soft water cuts through solid rock. Not because the water is powerful, but because it is persistent. That is the nature of persistence. It transforms the impossible into the inevitable. When challenges appear, most people see them as signs to stop, but persistent people see them as signs to continue. They understand that obstacles are part of the process, not the end of the process. They don't interpret difficulty as failure, they interpret it as progress. The tougher it gets, the more meaningful their mission becomes. Persistence builds strength in ways success never can. It teaches resilience, patience, humility, and courage. When you persist, you develop the mental toughness required to handle the blessings that will come later. You become someone who cannot be broken easily. And that inner strength is exactly what prepares you for opportunity. Persistence also sends a message to life. I'm serious. I'm committed. I'm not going anywhere. And life responds to seriousness. Opportunities open for people who prove they are willing to stay in the process. When you persist long enough, doors begin to open, not because of luck, but because you stayed long enough for the right door to appear. Here's the truth many miss. Failure doesn't stop the persistent. It shapes them. Persistent people don't run from failure. They use it. They learn from it. They grow from it. They adjust, adapt, improve, and continue. What stops others becomes fuel for them. What defeats others becomes direction for them. Every successful person has a story of persistence. The business that almost failed, the skill that took years to master, the moments of doubt, uncertainty, and frustration, the nights when quitting seemed easier. But they kept going, and eventually life rewarded them. People called it luck, but it wasn't luck. It was the inevitable outcome of not quitting. The beautiful part of persistence is that it doesn't require perfection. You don't have to be the smartest. You don't have to be the fastest. You don't have to be the most talented. You just have to keep going. Persistence beats brilliance when brilliance stops trying. Persistence beats talent when talent becomes lazy. Persistence beats luck because persistence creates the conditions where luck shows up. So remember this. The moment you feel like quitting is the moment you are closest to your breakthrough. The moment everything feels uphill is the moment you're rising. The moment you think nothing is working is the moment everything is being prepared. Stay persistent. Stay committed. Stay in the fight, because if you refuse to give up, success will eventually run out of places to hide. In the end, people will say you were lucky, but you will know the truth. Your persistence made luck inevitable.